Have you ever felt like your life has become an endless cycle, an exhausting loop that takes you nowhere? You wake up, follow your routine, work, eat, sleep, and at the end of the day, you ask yourself, what for? If you're nodding your head, stay with me because what you're about to discover could change everything. Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant thinkers to explore the human soul, believed that this emptiness you feel isn't an accident. It's not bad luck or mere chance. It's a sign, a powerful signal from your destiny whispering that there's something greater waiting for you. But here's the catch. To see it, you have to learn to listen. And I don't mean with your ears, but with something much deeper, your unconscious. Imagine this for a second. You're stuck in a day that feels identical to the one before. The same empty conversations, the same tasks you do on autopilot, the same people around you who, deep down, don't fulfill you. Sound familiar? Maybe you've even tried to fill that void with distractions, endless scrolling on social media, series you binge without thinking, or goals you chase just because you're supposed to. But let me ask you something, and I want you to stop and think about it. When was the last time you felt truly alive? Not just surviving, not just following someone else's script, but living a life that makes you vibrate, that makes you feel connected to yourself? Jung had an answer for this. He said the meaning of life isn't found in external things. It's not in the next promotion, the perfect partner, or the bank account that makes you feel secure. The meaning is inside you, hidden in a place most of us have forgotten how to explore: the unconscious. And this is where it gets fascinating. According to Jung, your unconscious isn't just a storage room for forgotten memories or repressed traumas. It's a guide, a living map that constantly sends you signals to find your way. But you know what we do most of the time? We ignore those signals. We drown them out with noise, rush, and excuses, and in doing so, we disconnect from who we really are. Think about those times when you felt a knot in your stomach for no apparent reason, or that gut feeling telling you something's off, even though everything on the surface seems perfect. Maybe it was a relationship that looked wonderful from the outside. Everyone told you it was ideal, but inside something screamed it wasn't for you. Or perhaps a job that promised stability, but left you dragging yourself out of bed each morning with an emptiness you couldn't explain. Jung would say that's no coincidence. It's your unconscious speaking, sending you messages through symbols, emotions, and hunches. And if you don't listen, that void in your routine will only grow. Now stop for a second. Breathe. I want you to do something with me. Close your eyes for a moment and think about this point in your life. What part of your routine weighs on you the most? What's that thing you do every day but, if you're honest, doesn't fulfill you? Don't rush to answer. Let the question settle, because what you're feeling right now, that slight discomfort or spark of curiosity, is exactly what Jung was talking about. It's the first step to observing the signs of destiny. Jung discovered that the unconscious doesn't use words like we do. It won't send you an email saying, "Hey, you're on the wrong path. Change course." No, it communicates through images, dreams, and those feelings you can't explain but know are real. Have you ever had a dream that stuck with you all day? Or an idea that popped up out of nowhere and gave you a shiver of excitement? That's not random. It's your unconscious trying to break through the noise of your routine to say, there's more here. Pay attention. And here's the secret Jung wanted you to understand. When you start listening to those signals, your life changes. Not overnight, not with a magic trick, but with a deep transformation that begins within. But to get there, you first have to face something we all avoid: the shadow. Yes, the shadow, that word that sounds mysterious, almost intimidating. Jung described it as the part of you you'd rather not look at. It's your fears, your insecurities, the things you repress because they don't fit the image you want to show the world. Does it make you a little nervous just thinking about it? That's okay, it's normal. But stay with me, because this is important. Imagine your shadow is like a box you've been carrying your whole life. Inside are all the things you don't want to admit: the fear of not being enough, the anger you keep quiet, the secret desire for a different life you've never dared to chase. Most of us spend our lives shoving that box to the back of the closet, pretending it's not there. But Jung said you can't escape it. The more you ignore it, the heavier it gets. And worse, it starts showing up in your routine, your relationships, the decisions you make without realizing it. Have you ever reacted in a way that surprised you later? Maybe you lost your patience with someone and didn't understand why it hit you so hard, or found yourself saying yes to something you secretly wanted to refuse. That's your shadow surfacing. It's not your enemy. It's a part of you begging to be seen, accepted, and integrated. Because when you do, something incredible happens. You reclaim your energy. That spark you feel you've lost and the monotony of your routine starts to come back. Let's pause here. I want you to think about someone in your life who drives you crazy. Yes, that person who just mentioning them tenses your shoulders. Got them in mind? Now ask yourself, what bothers you most about them? Their attitude, their words, their way of being? Jung would say what irritates you about them is a reflection of something in your shadow. I'm not saying to blame yourself, just observe. Because when you start seeing those patterns, you start understanding yourself better. And understanding yourself better is the first step to breaking free from a meaningless routine. Self-love comes into play here as a key piece. Jung didn't call it that exactly, but all his work points to it. You can't live a full life if you don't fully accept yourself, shadow included. And let me be clear, accepting yourself doesn't mean settling. It's not about saying, this is me, end of story. It's about recognizing who you truly are, with all your light and darkness, and building a life that makes sense for you from there. Doesn't that feel liberating? Imagine waking up each day feeling at peace with yourself, not needing to prove anything to anyone. Your routine not a burden, but a reflection of what you love. But wait, it's not all that easy. Before we go further, let me tell you my book is now available. It's full of tips and techniques to help you overcome emotional blocks and love yourself more. Find the link in the description and pinned comment. Let's continue. Because listening to the signs of destiny and facing your shadow takes courage. It means looking your fear in the eye, the fear that says, what if I fail? What if I end up alone? What if I'm not enough? Jung knew this was the big obstacle. That's why he talks so much about the hero's journey. The idea that real growth doesn't come from staying safe, but from venturing into the unknown. Are you ready to take that step? Don't worry if you feel doubts. We all do. The important thing is to start asking yourself, what would happen if I dared to listen? Now that we've laid the groundwork, let's dig a little deeper. If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you is resonating. Maybe it's that little voice you've been ignoring too long. Or maybe it's just curiosity about how Carl Jung can help you make sense of the routine that's got you trapped. Whatever it is, you're in the right place, because what's coming next is the heart of all this. The signs of destiny Jung tied to the unconscious are showing up in your life every day, especially in your relationships and how you treat yourself. Think about this. How often have you felt a relationship is draining you? I'm not just talking about romantic partners, though I'm sure you've got one in mind. It could be friends, family, coworkers, those people who leave you exhausted after spending time with them, like someone turned off your inner light. Has that happened to you? I'm sure it has. And this is where Jung gets interesting. He said those interactions aren't just bad vibes or random chance. They're mirrors. Mirrors of what's inside you that you're not seeing. For example, picture that person who's always criticizing you, finding fault in everything you do. It frustrates you, drives you up the wall, and at the end of the day, you wonder why you keep letting them stay in your life. Jung would say, look closer. What's that criticism showing you? Is it something you secretly think about yourself but don't dare admit? Maybe that inner voice saying, you're not enough, is using that person as a megaphone. I'm not saying it's easy to accept, but when you start seeing it that way, something shifts. You stop blaming the other person and start working on yourself. Then there are those relationships that feel like a constant battlefield, arguments, misunderstandings, an endless fight to be right. Know someone like that? Maybe a partner where it all started like a fairy tale, but now every conversation is a tug of war, or a friend who always needs more from you than you can give. It's exhausting, right? Jung would say those obstacles aren't just couple problems or irreconcilable differences. They're signs of destiny. Your unconscious is screaming, this isn't aligned with who you are, but you know what most of us do? We hold on. We tell ourselves if we try harder, give a little more, it'll all work out. And meanwhile, we lose ourselves. Let's pause here. I want you to think about a relationship in your life that makes you feel this way. Trapped, drained, out of place. Got it in mind? Now imagine this. What if you let it go? I'm not saying run out and cut ties with everyone, but just imagine for a second how your life would feel without that weight. Lighter? More yours? Jung believed letting go isn't giving up. It's an act of self-love. It's telling your unconscious, I respect myself enough to choose what lifts me up. And when you do, the universe responds. The right people start showing up. The ones who inspire you, who make you want to be more you. But here's the hard part. Letting go isn't always obvious. Sometimes those signs of destiny are subtle. They don't always come with thunder and lightning. They might be a fleeting thought, an unease you can't explain, or a dream that leaves you restless. Ever woken up from a dream so real it took you a while to get back to your routine? Jung said dreams are the language of the unconscious. They're not just weird fantasies, they're messages. And if your routine has you so disconnected, you can't even remember what you dreamed last night, you're missing a powerful tool for finding meaning. I want you to do something right now. The next time you have a dream that sticks with you, write it down. Doesn't matter if it seems ridiculous. A flying dog, a house you don't recognize, a conversation with someone you haven't seen in years. Write down how it felt. Because according to Jung, those symbols are clues. Clues about what your soul's searching for, what your current routine isn't giving you. And when you start paying attention, you start seeing patterns. Maybe that recurring dream about losing something important is telling you you're scared of losing yourself in this life you're living. Self-love comes up again here, and not as a social media cliche. Loving yourself is an active process. It's looking at yourself honestly and saying, I deserve a life that fulfills me. But how do you know if you're betraying yourself? It's simple and tough to admit. If you've ever felt you had to change who you are to fit in with someone, to be loved, to be accepted, you're going against your essence. Has that happened to you? Have you felt you had to dim parts of yourself to keep the peace in a relationship? If the answer's yes, listen to me. That's not love, not for them or for you. Jung taught us that authentic relationships, the ones truly worth it, don't ask you to hide. They challenge you to be more you. Think about the people around you right now. Who makes you feel you can be 100% yourself? No filters, no fear. Those are the connections to protect, and the ones that make you feel small, inadequate, or lost. Those are destiny's signals telling you it's time to move. Now let's talk about something we all face, the fear of change. Because yes, listening to the signs of destiny sounds nice, but taking the step is another thing. What if you let go of that relationship and end up alone? What if you leave that job you hate and don't find another? Jung knew fear is part of the process. He saw it as a test of whether you're willing to trust yourself, your unconscious, the signals the universe is sending you. And here's the good news. Every time you choose to trust, you get stronger. Every time you let go of something that doesn't serve you, you make space for something better. Imagine your life like a river. When you hold on to what doesn't work, it's like putting a dam in that river. The water stagnates, rots, and everything feels heavy. But when you let go, the river flows again. Energy returns, ideas flow, and suddenly you start noticing things you missed before. A random, inspiring chat with a stranger, an opportunity out of nowhere, a peace you haven't felt in years. That, my friends, is what Jung called synchronicity, and it's proof you're aligned with your destiny. We're in the home stretch now, and if you've stayed with me this long, I applaud you. Because this isn't just a video, it's a journey to yourself, guided by Carl Jung's ideas and that spark inside you that refuses to fade, even on your routine's grayest days. Let's close this strong, because I want you to leave here not just inspired, but ready to act, ready to observe destiny's signs and transform your life into something truly worth living. Let's talk about purpose, because that's what we're all after, right? A meaning, a reason to get up each morning beyond obligations. Jung believed purpose isn't something you find like treasure on a map. It's something you create, something that emerges when you align with your true self. But here's the problem. Your current routine is probably full of things pulling you away from that purpose. Relationships that drain you, habits that numb you, decisions you make out of fear, not desire. Am I right? Be honest with yourself. Think about your dreams for a moment. Not the nighttime ones, but those big dreams you once had. Maybe you wanted to travel the world, write a book, start a business, or just live a freer, truer life. Where are those dreams now? Still alive or buried under layers of I have to and I can't? Jung would say those dreams don't vanish. They're there in your unconscious, waiting for you to give them permission to surface. And every time you feel that emptiness in your routine, it's your unconscious reminding you those dreams are still alive. Now imagine this. What if you started making space for them? I'm not saying quit everything and move to an island tomorrow, but what if today you did something small for that dream? A call, a written page, a plan scribbled on a napkin. According to Jung, those small acts of courage awaken synchronicity. Suddenly you meet someone who helps you along, find a resource you didn't expect, or just feel a clarity you hadn't had before. Doesn't that sound exciting? But to get there, you need to let go of the baggage, including people who pull you away from your purpose. The ones who fill you with doubt, who say, that's not realistic, who douse your fire with negativity. Protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's survival. Because your energy is sacred. It's what drives you to create, to love, to live. And when you waste it on relationships or situations that don't nourish you, you're telling the universe, I'm not worth enough to chase what I love. But you are, more than you realize. Let's do one final exercise. Take a deep breath and think of one thing, just one, you could let go of today to get closer to your truth. Maybe it's a conversation you need to have, a no you've been avoiding, or a habit you know is holding you back. Got it? Now imagine how your life would feel without it. Lighter, clearer, more yours. That's what Jung wanted for you. A full life. Not perfect, but authentic. And here's the grand finale, the secret Jung left us. Everything you experience outside reflects what's inside. If your routine feels empty, it's because something in you needs attention. If your relationships are chaos, there's a lesson you haven't learned yet. But when you start listening to destiny's signs, when you dare to face your shadow and live from your authenticity, the world changes with you. It's not magic. It's deep psychology, connection, personal power. So I leave you with this. The change starts today. Not tomorrow, not when you have more time or less fear. Today. Listen to that intuition that brought you to this video. Observe the signs destiny's sending you, and do something, however small, to align with your truth. Because when you do, you won't just transform your routine, you'll transform your life. Now I want to hear from you. Down in the comments, tell me what sign of destiny you're seeing in your life right now. What are you going to let go of to get closer to your purpose? Your words don't just inspire me, they inspire this whole growing community here. And if this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Imagine the impact we could have together, a wave of people awakening to their authenticity, living meaningful lives. If you haven't yet, subscribe and hit the bell. This isn't just a channel, it's a movement. Every video is an invitation to connect with yourself, and I don't want you to miss what's coming. Thanks for being here, for listening, for being part of this. See you in the next video. Remember, the meaning you're seeking is within you. Dare to find it.